How can a few powerful Bible verses help you find faith in today's confusing world? We're living in a world that can often feel overwhelming and uncertain. It's easy to get caught up in the noise and lose sight of what truly matters. As believers, we're not immune to these feelings of confusion and doubt. But what if I told you that there are a few key Bible verses that can help guide us through these challenging times? These verses have been a source of comfort and strength for millions of people throughout history. They're powerful reminders of God's love, guidance, and presence in our lives. In this video, we're going to explore 7 powerful Bible verses that can help you navigate faith in a confusing world. From trusting in God's goodness to persevering through difficult times, these verses offer practical wisdom and encouragement for anyone seeking to deepen their faith. So let's dive in and explore how these verses can help you find faith in today's confusing world. The first Bible verse I want to share with you is Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6, which says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." This verse emphasizes the importance of trusting in God, even when we don't understand what's going on. In our lives, there are often times when we face uncertainty and confusion. But this verse encourages us to trust in God's goodness and sovereignty. When we trust in Him, we can have confidence that He's working everything out for our good. The context of this verse is also important. It's part of a larger passage that encourages believers to seek wisdom and guidance from God. By trusting in Him, we can avoid relying on our own limited understanding and instead, follow His guidance. This verse can provide comfort in uncertain times by reminding us that we're not alone. God is with us, and He's working everything out for our good. When we face challenges and difficulties, we can turn to Him and trust that He's got a plan. The second Bible verse I want to share with you is Jeremiah 29 verse 11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse speaks directly to our hearts, reminding us that God has a plan to prosper us, not to harm us. In times of confusion and doubt, it's easy to wonder if God is still working in our lives. But this verse reassures us that He has a plan to give us hope and a future. When we feel lost or uncertain, we can turn to this verse and remember that God is still working everything out for our good. The relevance of this verse in times of confusion and doubt cannot be overstated. It's a powerful reminder that God is still in control, and that He has a plan to prosper us. When we face challenges and difficulties, we can hold on to this verse and trust that God is working everything out. By meditating on this verse, we can begin to see that God's plans for us are good, and that He wants to give us hope and a future. This can inspire us to keep moving forward, even when things seem uncertain. The third Bible verse I want to share with you is Romans 5 verses 3 to 4, which says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." This verse encourages us to persevere through difficult times, knowing that it produces character and hope. As believers, we're not immune to suffering and challenges. But this verse reminds us that these experiences can actually produce perseverance, character, and hope. When we face difficulties, we can choose to glory in them, knowing that God is working everything out for our good. The message of this verse is one of hope and encouragement. It reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles, and that God is with us every step of the way. By persevering through difficult times, we can develop character and hope. This verse can inspire us to hold on to our faith, even when things seem tough. It reminds us that God is working everything out for our good, and that He wants to produce character and hope in us. The fourth Bible verse I want to share with you is Deuteronomy 31 verse 6, which says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This verse reassures us of God's presence, reminding us that He's with us wherever we go. In times of uncertainty and fear, it's easy to feel alone and discouraged. But this verse reminds us that God is always with us, and that He wants us to be strong and courageous. When we face challenges and difficulties, we can turn to this verse and remember that God is with us. The implications of this verse for believers feeling lost or alone are profound. It reminds us that we're not alone, and that God is always with us. When we feel lost or uncertain, we can turn to this verse and find comfort in God's presence. By meditating on this verse, we can begin to see that God's presence is always with us, and that He wants us to be strong and courageous. This can inspire us to face challenges and difficulties with confidence, knowing that God is with us. The fifth Bible verse I want to share with you is Galatians 6 verse 2, which says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." This verse emphasizes the importance of community and support, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles. As believers, we're called to carry each other's burdens and support one another. This verse reminds us that we're part of a larger community, and that we need each other to navigate life's challenges. When we face difficulties, we can turn to our brothers and sisters in Christ and find support. The importance of community and support cannot be overstated. When we're struggling, it's easy to feel isolated and alone. But this verse reminds us that we're part of a larger community, and that we can find support and encouragement from others. By meditating on this verse, we can begin to see the value of community and support. This can inspire us to reach out to others and find support, knowing that we're not alone in our struggles. The sixth Bible verse I want to share with you is Romans 8 verse 28, which says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse offers hope in the midst of challenges, reminding us that God is working everything out for our good. In times of difficulty and uncertainty, it's easy to wonder if God is still working in our lives. But this verse reassures us that He is, and that He's working everything out for our good. When we face challenges, we can turn to this verse and find hope. The significance of this verse in overcoming challenges and maintaining faith cannot be overstated. It reminds us that God is working everything out for our good, and that He has a plan to prosper us. When we face difficulties, we can hold on to this verse and trust that God is working everything out. By meditating on this verse, we can begin to see that God's goodness and sovereignty are always at work, even in the midst of challenges. This can inspire us to maintain our faith, knowing that God is working everything out for our good. The seventh Bible verse I want to share with you is Psalm 136 verses 1 to 3, which says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever." Give thanks to the God of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, His love endures forever. This verse reminds us of God's love and faithfulness, encouraging us to reflect on His goodness. In times of uncertainty and doubt, it's easy to lose sight of God's love and faithfulness. But this verse reminds us that His love endures forever, and that He's always working everything out for our good. When we face challenges and difficulties, we can turn to this verse and find comfort in God's love. The love and faithfulness of God are central themes throughout the Bible. This verse reminds us that God's love is enduring and eternal, and that He's always working everything out for our good. By reflecting on His love and faithfulness, we can deepen our faith and trust in Him. By meditating on this verse, we can begin to see that God's love and faithfulness are always present, even in the midst of challenges. This can inspire us to give thanks and praise to God, knowing that His love endures forever. In conclusion, these 7 powerful Bible verses offer practical wisdom and encouragement for anyone seeking to deepen their faith in a confusing world. From trusting in God's goodness to persevering through difficult times, these verses remind us that faith can guide us through even the most challenging situations. The key takeaways from these verses are clear: God is with us, He has a plan to prosper us, and His love endures forever. When we face challenges and difficulties, we can turn to these verses and find comfort, hope, and encouragement. As you reflect on these verses, I encourage you to think about how they've impacted your life. Have you found comfort in God's presence during difficult times? Have you seen His faithfulness and love at work in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.